13 years old. Books have taken me on adventures all over this world. Movies have shown me intense challenges that heroes face. My brother's video games have taught me that a gruesome death will come quickly if you're not paying attention. It's a wild world out there, and here in Texas, it gets even wilder. I'm going to experience, explore, thrive, and survive these wilder lands. And you are coming with me! Labeled Hill Country, there's a safe way to go down rapids without like hitting your head or anything. And what you gotta do is you gotta sit on your butt and you gotta aim your feet downstream so your feet will hit any rocks and not your head. And as you can see, I don't have any of my supplies with me except for my backpack and what's in there. And I know that somewhere down the stream is all my supplies. It's on one of the banks, and I'm gonna try travel down and find that. And I'm gonna try fishing. I know I've got my fishing rod down there, and I'll see what other stuff I can find. But yeah, so the safe way to travel down, I will now show you an example. Okay, well, that was fun. I survived the rapids, and now I'm in more of a pooly type area. And I finally found my supplies, so I'm gonna show you what I got. First up is my fishing pole. Now this will come in handy since there's water all around me. It's just a light fishing pole. It's not an ocean fishing pole. It's got some lighter line on it, so it'll take in like an average sized fish. Yeah, it's got a small reel on it, and it goes down to there. And then it's got some extra strength right here, like where the pole bends so it won't snap. This little piece of plastic thingy right here, and then the rest is all fiberglass. And then over here, I have my tackle box. Now inside, I've got some extra clothes, and these clothes are dry. As you can tell, I'm soaked right now. And I've got a bunch of different stuff. I've got different size hooks. They're all over. Some worms right there. And those will come in handy as live bait. I've got tape measure to measure the fish, got some bobbers and a hook out. So yeah, that'll be real fun and I can go fishing. And next up, I've got my pack. And we'll see what's in it. Okay, so it's the Camelback and it's got some water in it. It's empty. So I'm gonna have to find some different ways to get some water to put in my Camelback so I can drink. Yep, it's completely empty. Okay, and next up, there's anything down here. Nope. In the medium-sized pocket, what do we have? I've got the first aid kit. And the first aid kit, it's a survival first aid kit, so it has all sorts of weird stuff in there. And I'll open it and give you guys a view. Okay, so here's the first aid kit. Got all sorts of stuff. Got a band-aid. It's a little wet right now because I was just in the water. But it'll always dry out. Okay, so next up, there's some cough drops in there and they got wet. Next up, I have my reflector and a map. Now, as you can see, this map is very wet. So yeah, I'm gonna have to dry this out. And then I've got my trusty knife, as always. Got a little bit of paracord. And the sun's going down right now, so it's gonna get dark soon. But I'll venture for a little bit. So I'm hiking along, and as I always say, if you're observant, you can find some real cool stuff. Now, if you look over here, there's a cactus. Now this isn't any old cactus. This is a happy face cactus. If you look at cactus, there's usually one like little leafy type thing that has a cool design on it. You find all sorts of different shapes, but this is really unique. There's a smiley face. Doesn't he look happy? So you gotta watch out for them because they're spiny, and you also gotta watch out for them to see cool designs. A couple feet away from that really happy cactus is some not so happy ants, and they get on you real easy. They will bite you, and it's very painful when they do bite and after they bite, so you gotta watch out for these big old guys. Okay, so I've got a little tiny bit of paracord, only like 6 inches. It's been raining a lot lately, so there's lots of nice lush grass. Long. And here I got the grass tied on, and you can just whap off the bugs off of your back, and it's friendly because it doesn't kill them, but it does shoo them away. It's like a bug shoo, and you can find it at any local forest near you, and you can probably see all the little gnats and bugs flying around me. They're attracted to humans, and they try and land on their legs, and they're so annoying. See, I can go whap, whap, whap. Okay, so this guy is a turtle. Now, the type of turtle that he is a red-eared slider. Now you can tell because when his head pops out, you can see there are little red, like, stripes on the side of his head, one on each side, or over by his ears, so they call them red-eared sliders. Now you can see the bottom of his shell, pretty cool. There's his face, and then his booty is over there, and he's got the little marks on the side of his head, the little red marks, and you got to be careful because they will bite you. And I found this guy sunbathing over in the water, and I jumped and got him. And sometimes red-eared sliders can carry diseases, so you don't want to really touch your face after you touch him. And you gotta wash your hands after you touch them. I'll rinse my hands off in the water and I won't touch my face. But yeah, pretty cool guy. And I will release him soon because I do not want him to die or get hurt. And here's a close-up on him. So yeah, pretty cool. Keep your eye out by the water and you can find things like turtles. Okay, turtle, go that way. Okay, so I was hiking along, and as I said earlier, if you look out for cactus, you can find really cool shapes on them. Now, on this particular one, I found a heart. It's this little leaf part of the cactus right here. You can see it's the heart shape. And yeah, it's really cool. Just look out for shapes and you can find all sorts of stuff like the smiley face that I found. So that one's a heart and I'll keep looking. Okay, so I've been hiking around looking for a cool fishing spot and I think I found it. This is a little lake type area and I've seen all sorts of cool stuff in there. I've seen turtles, I've seen like sunfish, and I've seen some bass come up to the surface. And I've also seen some spotted gar, which would be really cool to catch. And again, those are like the alligator-y type fish. Okay, so what I've got here for my setup is just a bobber with a little rattly thing on it, so if it goes under, I should be able to hear it. And then down here, I've got a good-sized weight. And then right here, I have a wiggly night crawler. And I have a whole box of them right here. So if some little fish decide to come up and take them off the hook, and I have more to put on. And I'm using a pretty good-sized hook, so only the big fish will get caught on this one. And I'll cast out and see if I can catch anything. Okay, so I was fishing here and I was just using a little green spinner and I caught a largemouth bass. Now at this particular park we can't eat the largemouth bass because they are protected, and it was just in the little pond that I was fishing in, and he's a pretty good size. And the way that you tell if a fish is a large, or if a bass is a largemouth bass, is if you look at their jaw right here, it descends behind his eye, so you know that he's a largemouth. If it's in front of his eye, he's another type of bass. But the largemouth is different because the jaw goes behind the eye. Now, I guess if I was starving, I could eat this guy, but again, I'm not allowed to. And he put up a good fight, but he wasn't hooked as severely as the other one, so the hook came right out. And yeah, he's really healthy fish, and now I'm gonna go release him. Okay, so when you go fishing, you're gonna need some bait. And if you need more than just one type of bait, like I have worms, you can try and catch smaller bait fish to use as bait. Now, if you look in a pond, everywhere you can always see like little minnows and bait fish and stuff. So how do you catch them? Well, all you need is some fishing line, a little tiny hook, and like some corn or some bread or some worms or any type of little bait for the bait fish. Now it's real easy to catch a bait fish. All you gotta do is take a little piece of worm, put it on the little hook, and just drop it in the water, and all the little bluegill and sunfish will just come and attack that little piece of bait, and then you have yourself a bait fish. And down in this area, like where you can get real close to the water, you also got to be careful for snakes, because sometimes they'll come out from under the dirt down there, or be like in a tree or in a hole in that tree right there. So you gotta watch out for them because those can be really dangerous. Now I'm just gonna plop the bait in and wait for a little bait fish to come and bite it. I got a bait fish, but I dropped my fishing line with the fish on it into the water. And I'm gonna try and find it. He took off with it, so yeah. Well, guess I gotta rig up another one. Oh, I think I got one. There we go. Okay. You get quite a few bites when fishing this way, and it's really fun because they're easy to catch, and it's just a little sunfish. Okay, now when you want to string them onto your rod, what you're gonna do is you're going to take your hook here. It's gonna be a pretty big hook for the fish that's gonna bite this guy, and you're just gonna put it through his mouth and pop it out the bottom of his lip. And then, yeah, this doesn't kill him, so you can just put him in the water and he'll swim and you can drag him along. And then some fish will come up and bite him and lock onto that hook, and then you got yourself a fish. So yeah, that's how to catch bait fish. It's pretty easy and you don't need much to do it. So, I've been hiking for a while and I found the river again. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to jump in the river. And I'm gonna climb up here, and it's a good way to keep your body temperature at the level it needs to be so that you don't overheat and so that you don't dehydrate. Here I go. That was fun. Okay, so another essential to survival is water. And to survive, you're gonna need water. And as I said earlier, my camelback is empty, and it turns out that it has a leak in it. So, I'm gonna show you a way to get some water. Okay, so to gather water, in my survival first aid kit, I have tons of different stuff. And what I have in here is a condom. Now, condoms have many survival uses, such as like tying a tourniquet or gathering water or all sorts of stuff. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the condom and I'm gonna put it in a place over in the water with a current. And then the water will go in, and then I can purify it after I've got it in here. And I can purify it with iodine tablets or boiling it or all sorts of stuff. Now, you can buy the non-lubricated kind, or you can just rinse it off in the water. It's not a big problem. And they're good for holding water because they're sort of like balloons. But once you get that water in there, they're gonna be really delicate, like a blade of grass can pop them. So I'm gonna hold it inside of my camelback, and you can also put it in like a sock or inside of a towel or something to keep it from popping. I'm rinsing it off. And these things can stretch to get really, really like large to hold water. So it's a good thing to use to hold water. Okay, so I'm gonna put the condom in the water, and since the current is not too strong here, I've gotta pull it forward. But you gotta be really delicate with it so that it does not pop. Pull it forward, then you got this big orby thingy. It's hard to hold. And then okay, so this is a good amount of water. Tie off the top. And it's good to go. And you can also make fires with these things by putting a little tiny bit of water in it and then holding it up to the sun, and the sun will refract through the water and act as magnifying glass, and it can create heat so it can light like little twigs and kindling on fire, and you can actually make fires with this when you're out in the wilderness. So yeah, I've got my water in here, and I'm gonna go put it in my camelback and purify it later. Okay, so after tons of failures, I have finally managed to put the condom inside of the bladder. Now I can fill it up and purify it as many times as I want. Since it's wrapped around this part, it will stay in and it acts as its own little bladder. And that's how to transport water condom style. So I was hiking along and I saw something like off on the trail. If you look over here, there's a big old turtle. Really good sized turtle. Oh, look at that guy. He's a big dude. I don't know if he's up here laying eggs or what. Look at the size of that guy. Here's a hand comparison. But yep, keep your eye out and find cool stuff along the trail. But I'm gonna leave him or her alone now and keep hiking. Okay, so I've been hiking along and I think it's time to look at the map. But I was just stomping there and I kicked the log because I'm trying to make sound and shake up the log just in case there's a snake. Then it will either go away if it knows that I'm coming, or if it's a rattlesnake, it'll give me a warning. Because if I surprise it, it will most likely strike me. Okay, so I found this log to sit on, and I think it's a good time to look at my map. It's finally all dried off. Okay, so here's the map of the park. And I've been to the lake, which is right there, and I've been hiking along this trail right here, and then I've also been to the river, and right over here it says tube takeout point. Now what that means is people like tube down the river. They most likely start from up here and they tube down, and then they get out right there at the tube takeout point. So there's most likely going to be people. So if I'm up here right now, I'm gonna hike down this trail, which is 1.5 miles, and I'm gonna get down here and try and find that area, and I can wait, and there will most likely be people that will show up to take out their tube, and that will be my ticket out of here. So I'm gonna keep hiking and try and find the tube takeout point. So I've been hiking through the forest, and as you can see here, there has been a tree that has fallen down. Since this has fallen down, it would create a perfect frame for a lean-to. Down limbs that have fallen down because there's been a lot of storms lately, and all you need to do is take those, and down here at the lower area, just lean them up against the trunk, and you'll have sort of like a triangular prism type area, and you can just crawl in there, and it's pretty safe. So yeah, I'm gonna keep hiking and just keep my eyes out, and there's all sorts of cool stuff I can see. Okay, I have finally found a tube exit area. Okay, you guys, this place was South Llano, and it was awesome. If you ever get a chance to come to Texas, or if you live in Texas, you should totally visit this place. It's so cool. The fishing is great. There's tons of big fish. I've seen huge gar, lots of bass, and they have tons of awesome like animal viewing places. There's deer and turkey and all sorts of bird viewing places, but it's just a really cool place to visit. And I have finally found my ticket out of here. Well, I could wait for somebody to come, but instead, I'm gonna go get 'em.